Hello friends, today I will show you how to fix fairy wings in case you have lost wings, if that makes any sense at all. So these wings didn't get lost, they're from this fairy, so obviously you would just hot glue them on. I wouldn't use super glue on this one. I do use hot glue gun, it's just much more handy and stuff. So that wouldn't be any problem, but these two poor things, well, that one has lost her feet as well. You don't have any wings for them and you do want to fix it, so it's quite easy to do. All you need is just papers that would be a bit thicker than, not exactly like thick cardboard, but a bit thicker than paper you dry it on. So you just want to fold it in half. Let's say my fairy would have green dress and I want to have green wings for her as well. So you just fold it in half. If you have spare wings, you can just trace around, and if you don't have spare wings, obviously you can just make up the shape of them yourself. Then when you cut them out, you don't have to cut exactly in that line where you traced, because they're folded together, they will be identical anyway. So we open them up, it's like a little butterfly, and then you want to have a look if this part matches the size of that part where her wings were already, and they do match there. So that size would actually be fine for this fairy. So now you wouldn't want to glue on just plain paper like that. You do want to work with them a bit, and this is what I will show you how to do. One way is, if you want to do it quite fast, take any nail varnish you decide. You could use any colored ones, or if you use colored paper, you could use a clear nail varnish, or you could do drawing on there and use clear nail varnish then. But do apply quite a few layers on this side and that side. So I did use nail varnish on these wings here. First of all, I used white paper and I colored them blue to match this fairy's dress, but I couldn't come up with that same shade, so in the end I ended up covering them with white nail varnish. But I don't want to cover more layers there, because all that blue will disappear then, and at the moment that shade is actually perfect for her. So after, if you do the nail varnish thing, just do many layers until you could kind of feel the paper is like harder, and then basically hot glue them on, that's all. And if you don't do nail varnish thing, but nail varnish is faster, that's for sure, let's work on these wings. If you don't do nail varnish things, then I do recommend to use Mod Podge. You can also use PVA glue, because when it dries out it's clear, and for this kind of little project it would be completely suitable. Do cover few layers of the glue on, because it will harden up and it will be just kind of stronger. They won't be like, you know, that floppy, especially if you're fixing this for some little child, and there's all possible chances that they will just tear them apart anyway. So you do want to make them a bit kind of harder to break, I should say. So I will cover this with Mod Podge. There's actually enough there. So I will just cover them and then let them dry and come back to you. So just like that. That's one layer. You see, if you do it with nail varnish, you obviously would just have to wait when that dries out, which is faster drying than Mod Podge. Now I did these wings for this little fairy here, and the other side will be silvery. So I used the paper, show you now, this paper, which is, I think it's actually top of those kind of like takeaway little boxes, tinfoil ones, where you can put the top on like that and just fold the sides in and stuff. So I had the paper new there, didn't use it, and it was very handy for this project. So I will leave that side nice and shiny silvery. It kind of matches there nicely because she has this little lines there around hairband like, and it's kind of grayish silvery, so it will look nice on her. So I will cover this with Mod Podge as well. I did put some nail varnish on that side to make it white. I just didn't want to pull all the tubs of paint out and mix water and all that. It was just a bit of short of time, you know, that's all. So these wings are drying. Oh, actually I will show you this. If you do it on colored paper, or let's say you did color white paper in, what Mod Podge will do, it will make it more brighter color. So what I will do is I will just paint Mod Podge on one side, and then when I come back you will see the difference of dried one with Mod Podge and not dried one on the other side. So see you in a minute. Back with the wings. Now these ones are nearly dry. That was Mod Podge there, and they had that shiny finish on the other side. I think I will do a few more layers of Mod Podge, because more layers you do, the harder it gets. And then in the end you just, as I was saying already, hot glue them on. So we do that later. The blue wings will need quite a few layers of Mod Podge, since this paper is thinner. I should have used thicker paper, so just if you are fixing any wings there at all that do, then look for a bit thicker paper. That would be my suggestion. But I like the shade that has, because it's like her dress really. And the green ones that I applied Mod Podge on one side, I don't know if you can see it, but you see it's kind of, it has that shiny finish, and the other side doesn't. Don't know if you can see that at all. Maybe you can. Has a shiny finish there. So that's that. Now for the poor thing's feet. I think I will use a little lid. It used to look like this. All I did was I just cut off this part with paper knife because it's very sharp. The reason I took such a big kind of surface for her to stand on is 'cause she's quite tall. Normally if figurine would be like this tall and would have broken feet, I would make much smaller stand for her and would glue her on. But for this big one, I think she needs something. I think she needs a bigger surface to stand on. So there are two steps to this. Now the higher part I will put at the back for nice display. So all I will do now is I will hot glue her on here, and with hot glue, if you've ever done anything at all, you do want to hold her exactly in position and then wait. Now it turns out one of her legs is actually shorter than another. It's broken out off more. Ah, I'm out of glue as well. Right. Come on, glue gun. Now I can put a bit more there. So now I just wait for that to cool down. I could put a bit more there. Right, I just wait for that to cool down and I come back to you. Now that has cooled down, so now all I will do is just build kind of surface around it, and since we left there a little higher side, you do want that hot glue to go to that one, so you want to build it up, layer it up a bit. But we are not going to leave it white like that. I will show you in a minute how to make grass. So considering the amount of grass that will come up creating another layer, we have to kind of think how high do we put this first layer of glue. So you don't want to go too high with it. No. So all I do is this is my small hot glue gun. I have a big one which is much more handy, but to be honest, for small repairs like this, actually the small one is fine. And if you are doing projects that requires your hot glue gun to be turned on for a while, just watch out because it can get extremely hot. Now, and do not touch it. I've burnt myself so many times. So now all I did there is I covered all that part. See, she will be standing fine. Now I will wait when it cools down, and while that is cooling down, now let me switch off the hot glue. While that is cooling down, I will show you how to do grass. I also did this method of making grass for all the fairy world that I created. You could see it on my Facebook page. So all this is just a ball of wool. I chose this shade for her because if I would go a shade like that, it would really look a bit weird, since she's all in this like paler kind of colors. So you don't want to have like crazy bright grass there. So I did get this wool, whoever lives in Portarlington, on the main street, Eurozone. It's only €2. It's very good quality. I have done loads of projects with this kind of wool. Now all we do is just wrap some wool around your 2 fingers like this. We don't need too much grass for there because surface is not that big at all. Like that. Let's say it's a bit better to have a bit more than not enough. So just slip it off your fingers, cut it there like this, and now all you do is scissors them. There you see, it's all dried on. So scissors them up like that. In that Fairy World, as you can see on my Facebook account. I used all different kinds of shade of green. Some were actually so much like real grass, like some of the scissored up wool looked really natural, but it just creates nice finish to it. Like, where in this case we'll just use this one because it's nice and light. So this will be our grass. Now I will plug back the hot glue. This will be our grass, so it will go around that surface. It's still a bit warm, thank God it's not boiling hot. So now what we do, we will do that last layer of glue. We will just build it up a bit higher, and you should kind of do it patch by patch. I just quickly have a look if I have another glue stick somewhere handy, because I will run out of it. I thought I took it along. Sorry, no. Right, I don't say it. Anyway, so all you do is like that. You just apply a bit of glue, take that wool and press it against that hot glue there, that patch. Now be very careful, you can really burn your fingers, and this is obviously not project for children to repair, it's for grown-ups. See, that's all stuck there. Looks like grass. I will do that from another side. You don't have to press it very hard because hot glue is melted plastic. Obviously, if you put anything really on melted plastic, it sticks. And of course, something so light as knitting wool would stick there, absolutely no problem whatsoever. So this is how you just go on and continue, and I will be back in a minute. Right, I'm still sticking the grass on, but it is nearly done. So you see that raised side there, you do want to cover that, I suppose. Well, you could leave it like that, but I won't. So I just apply a bit of hot glue there on that side, and I stick the wool on. Now this comes to all this wool can get into your nose and eyes and everything. Usually you might get even covered with it or so. So now you just take all the excess off, that's all. You can take a little brush and brush it off as well if you really want to. Obviously you could stick little flowers there, or like maybe little diamonds for something like that. Now there she is. It's a grassy field. I won't glue her wings on yet because I do want to put more layers of the Mod Podge to have them kind of harder, so she can go on the side. She's rolling on the side there, but of course we will put wings on this lady. Here you go, darling. Now press down on that and she's fixed within literally minutes. Hot glue is is perfect. Oh, I only noticed she must be Irish fairy. Look, there's little clover leaf. Oh, I didn't notice that before. Oh, that's very cute. Yeah, so this gal is fixed. And her wings I will put on as well, because they don't require any more layers of the Mod Podge. So let's put those on. Nice and steady. Now, if you get these strings from hot glue, don't worry, you can take them off easily after it's cooled down. Don't pull them off while it's still hot, because if the main blob of paint of the glue is still hot and you're pulling the string, you're just pulling all the glue off. So there, she looks nice, I think, as well, with her light colored wings and shiny from the other side. I really like this figurine. Right, so here are two fairies already fixed up, and this girl will wait for her wings to dry, and I will glue them on. I might glue maybe some little, I don't know, maybe diamonds. I think, no, I might not actually, because I do have light blue ones, but they're very, very bright comparing with her looks. Like, you do want to have accent on I mean, sorry, I mixed in some Latvian language there. You do want to have the focus on fairy itself. You don't want to have that much focus around on the decoration. Now, if this happens, glue sticks out a bit there, just either scissors or the little paper knife will do the trick. Yeah, right, there you go. I hope that helped to someone anyway.